Okay, we're recording. So while you're watching this, it's definitely bring up your passions document. You cannot minimize Zoom. Okay, hold on. I'm trying. I can't even get mine. There it is. Okay. So let me move. Thanks, baby. Okay. So as a coach, and like whether you're like a brand new coach or you've been coaching for a while, going through these exercises can be really, really helpful. Just kind of getting reconnected to, why am I a coach? Like, why am I doing this? What am I uniquely good at? Can kind of help you with your ideal client. Because here's the thing. When you are making your posts or, your marketing, if you're marketing to everybody, it's like you're marketing to nobody. Okay, so this is going to help you get really specific on who are the people that you want to help. That's why, I know with a lot of our coaches, and I know Katie and I have talked about, you can't just do clean eating challenges anymore. It's too generic. Everybody does it. Everybody does a clean eating challenge. So what makes you unique? So this is kind of what's this exercise is supposed to kind of help you focus on, is what makes you you. So going through your passions, and we're just going to kind of do this together. So we'll just kind of give you a few minutes to jot some things down. Obviously, you can come back and work on it after we, talk about it. So I get out a piece of paper, write some of this stuff down, and we can kind of brainstorm if you guys are feeling stuck with anything. But other than that, I'll just kind of give you a few minutes to write it down. So reflect on the things that you are passionate about in regards to your business. What do you love talking about and helping others with? What gets you fired up about what you do? And this is my favorite question, is what would you help others with for free? If you weren't getting paid in this business, what would you just oh my gosh, I'll just do it. I don't even care if I don't get paid. So I would take a minute or two and just kind of jot down a couple of things about that. Does anyone want to share a couple things, and we can kind of bounce ideas off of each other?
Yeah, go Shay.
So the things I had, so the first one I put was self-confidence and self-love and things like that, because I feel like that's, for me, it was something that I had to change when I started. And so that's very easy for me to share within my challenge group, but it would also be something easy to do for free, just if somebody needed help with that, to give them pointers and tips on how to start getting to that point.
Totally.
Good. I shared an overarching thing that I always have is just that you can get more out of life, and you don't have to be unhappy, whether that is with confidence or your weight or anything that our challengers typically struggle with, which is probably stuff we struggled with before, starting our fitness journeys, that you don't have to stay stuck in that place, that there is more. Because I think I see so many people who just live like that, and they're like, that's how I've always been, and that's the way it is. And I'm like, no, that's not how it is. Mm-hmm. And then anything with fitness, because I just really love fitness, and just feel like there's so many ways that it can help you in your life, just by getting active. So
cool. I think what I would help others with for free, I like thinking about it that way, is anything with eating struggles. I'm a food fanatic. So if you have food issues or, any kind of just feeling confident with yourself, or just letting go of diets, finding freedom with food, really anything with food is something that I was hey, let's hop on a call. Oh, you're struggling with that? Let's hop on a quick call, and I'll I'll just get you on the phone so I can just kind of, that's what I'm really passionate about. I was hey, let's get on the phone and we can chat through this, Melissa, what about you? I think you, oh, there you go.
Just mindset and mindfulness and just getting in the right place in your head, because that was something I've struggled with for a really long time. So just helping people
Totally. Yeah.
more with their mental side.
Good. And guys, feel free to like expand on this too. Like, we can just jot some stuff down today or tonight, but feel free to like, you can go back and expand or like keep jotting down. Or if you hear someone else say something, you're like, oh yeah, I like that. Feel free to like steal it. So your expertise is the next thing. So list the things that you are 100% confident that you can help people with. So what do you do better than anybody else? So don't get hung up on this really, like with like, oh, well, they could probably do it better. Yeah, I could probably find 100 people that are better than me at helping people with emotional eating. Don't like get hung up on that, but just list the things that you're just like 100% confident, like, yes, I'm good at that and I can help people with that. Or even if it's just something you're so clear that you want to help people with, that you could just, you could do your own research. So just kind of take a minute to kind of write down, what are you really good at? And it doesn't have to be anything with health. It could be like you're really, really good with your finances. You're good at, because that really, if you're really good with finances, that could be something that you incorporate into your challenge or a free group. So think outside the box there too.
I would say think about your gifts. Like, I don't know, I know Alicia probably like knows her spiritual gifts and I know mine. Or you can take like strength finders tests or different ones like that to see where you really are good. Like some people are really good at organizing and you can still bring that into your business. Or any and everything I take, different tests always talks about a spiritual gift being an encourager. So I try to like see how I can harness that and use it.
Does anyone want to share some of the things they feel like they're good at?
I'm kind of good at motivating and inspiring people. And then I always take it like deeper, like why or what does that? And I think we talk about this later on as we go through this exercise, but your own story can inspire people. So if you can get good at sharing your story or getting your story to connect with other people, then you can say that you're a motivator and inspirer. Like those are things you can say you're an expert at.
One thing that I just kind of took it simple too was like, I know that I'm good at making like meal plans. Like I can just like write up a grocery list real quick. Like a simple little tiny things like that too. Sometimes I feel like we don't realize like how helpful the little things that we do every day are to some people that have never done it before. So even like writing meal plans or just waking up early or being organized, having an organized to-do list, it could be like gold to someone else. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely feel free to kind of expand there as far as like, and keep adding things like even like little things like, you know what? I'm really good at drawing graphics. I don't know, whatever you're really good at that you could help people with, like little things like staying organized can be really helpful for some people that you could incorporate into your challenge groups or just helping with people. Okay, so your story. Words tell, stories sell. So reflect on your health journey. How were you feeling before you made these positive changes in your life? Why was that so difficult for you? How have you changed your life for the better? And now I wrote Island A, miserable, Island B, happy. Paint a picture, get as specific as possible. So to kind of go deeper into here, this is one of those ones where it's going to take, you might want to come back to it later to give yourself some more time. But really, like, Island A means like, but the before. Like, really, really, really get clear on what was it like for you before you started this health journey? Like, how were you feeling? And then it talks about, your desire. What did you want to change about yourself so badly? What did you want to accomplish? What were you struggling with that held you back from making this change or transformation? And then the catalyst is, what was the catalyst for your change? Like, what tool or solution entered your life that enabled you to get from A to B? So that's kind of like where Beachbody comes in, or where your health or finding fitness or finding health, whatever, that's kind of where that catalyst comes in. So kind of give yourself some time to really paint that picture of like who you were before, and let's start there, and then kind of go through number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I'll give you a couple minutes, but like I said, we're not gonna spend like 30 minutes on this, so we'll just kind of get you started. And if you guys have questions, and we can post these, guys. I think it'd be really cool to like post our stories on our page. That way we can kind of help each other, like get really clear and specific, like, okay, well, what else? Like, what, we can kind of help each other with this story. So feel free to like post these to our page and we can give each other feedback.
The story is really important. And I also encourage you guys, my challengers, do this, whether I, at the end, actually make them say like where they are then, because let's be honest, like in 21 days, some people have a really great mindset change and like just run with it, and others it takes them longer. But I always ask them, like, document how you're feeling now. Like, you need to document where you were at, like somewhere. I'm like, write it in an email, write it to me, write it somewhere, how you, with the place you're at now, like in your very first challenge group. Or if it's like their third, I'm like, go back to your first challenge group and write down the place that brought you to me, like to this group that encouraged you to say yes, that made you reach out, because that's where they always have to go back to when they are feeling discouraged. So it's not just even just a story for you, like encourage your challengers to kind of do the same. And that also kind of brings them around sometimes to coaching.
Good. For now, moving on to your brand. So make sure you definitely like set some of your time aside tomorrow, during your, what is it called? Your power hour or your focus time, to kind of like give yourself some time to really work on this. And it's going to be one of those things that you share, not just one time. Like, this is something that you're sharing every week. Your story, in different ways, right? You're going to be sharing your story in different ways, but this is so key to really work on and get like, okay, why? It's that big why. Okay, so your brand. From now on, think of yourself not just as a Beachbody coach, but as a brand. What do you want to be known for? Known for. And what do you want people to think of when they hear your name or see your face? So really, really, really powerful. So take a minute or two and just think about like, okay, if when someone hears my name, what do I want them to think of? Like, what words come to your mind? What's the image? Paint the picture. Okay. Does anyone want to share? Or, I mean, I know it's kind of like personal, but does anyone want to kind of share? I can share. So, like, as a brand, and this is something that's like, oh, is kind of continually changing, but really from your brand, every post you make, which I know is sometimes hard, but like every post you make needs to encompass your brand and who your ideal client is. And the next Zoom, we're going to be talking more about who is your ideal client. You're going to be giving them a name. You're going to be talking about like how old they are, like what do they look like, what is their past, what do they struggle with, to kind of get you really connected to like who exactly you're meant to help. But your brand is, something for me is like, okay, what do you want people to think of when they hear your name or see your face? And I kind of wrote underneath that, kind of like, I want people to think of like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired of being where I'm at. I need something. I need a change. I need something different. Like, I hate my body. Oh yeah, Sierra. That's what I want people to think of, like, when I hate my body. Oh, Sierra. That's kind of where you want to, like, you want to be that person for your people on your Facebook and your family and your friends that think of you first when they need a change for their, like Melissa said, like mental, like more like mental aspect, or when they need like Katie fitness, like, oh my God, I just am out of shape. Holy crap. Like, oh my God, Katie, I know Katie can help me with that. Like, you want to be like, what exactly do you want them to think of? And this might take a little bit of work too. Like, what do you want to be known for? And getting specific with that. And that's going to kind of tie in with your island A to island B. So island B, really paint the picture as like, wow, like being in a challenge group with me is going to get you to island B. I have the ticket to like, okay, you were like that before, or you feel like this right now. Like, I know how you feel. You feel miserable, tired, run down, blah, 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 blah. I'm the ticket for you feeling happy, confident, and free. My challenge group, me, your coach. So that way it's like easy, like, oh, I'm suffering and I'm struggling with this. Sierra is my ticket. I'm signing up tomorrow. Where's my credit card? Basically. Is connecting that so that people, when they think of you and your brand, they think of like, oh, yep, that's the girl I need to go to. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I think personal development is huge in this area because I've talked with people before and coaches before and had this conversation myself too of like, oh, it can be so hard to like self-reflect, or like I can share my story, but really what am I giving? What value do I want to give to people? What do I want to bring? What's my brand? Personal development is going to help you big time there. So yes. It does take a lot of self-reflection. And then like Sarah said, next time we'll talk more about the ideal client, but she kind of touched on this at the beginning and then right at the end. And I just want you guys to know, Allie said it in lots of trainings. I don't know if you guys have heard it or not, but it sounds like the opposite, right? That you want to have a really specific client and target a certain group of people. You're like, no, because then my clientele goes from like all these people to this many, and I am going to have less people to help. And actually you're going to have way more. You have to like wrap your head around that and know that and believe that and trust that when you are targeting and marketing to and reaching out to a specific group of women or people, or even like some people get so specific, like I only help women. And then they get more specific in there, you're going to actually help your business, not hurt it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Any other questions about this?
It's fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's good to kind of like reflect and get deep sometimes. I know like this is what I like was kind of needing for my own business. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing with my life? Like sometimes you gotta like get back to like why. It's kind of just getting back to like, who do I want to help? Like, who am I? What am I good at? And then this even like incorporates into free groups, what are you good at? Like one of my girlfriends, one of my success partners in Beachbody is really, really good with finances. And she ran a free group, like literally just about finances. and just was giving value to people. She's really good at it. She's passionate about it. And then she talked about how like health and finances go together and how to budget for, you know, your health, which was like, what? That's genius. I'm terrible at finances. I would never do a free group on finances, right? Because I suck at it. But it's like finding out what things you're good at and how you can incorporate those and make them uniquely you. What makes you you? What makes you unique? Well, thank you guys so much. Does anyone have any questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
No, but thank you. It was very helpful for me. Like you said, it's just like really makes you like reflect on yourself hugely. And so this was really helpful. I looked at it earlier today. So
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah. And if you guys have questions or like, if you want to post your stories or like post your brand ideas, like, okay, who am I? Like post them to the page and we can give each other feedback. Like all of us have totally different people. So it's not like we can steal each other's stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you guys see something you're like, ooh, I like that. We have different friends. We have different people. Like Katie and I share a sister. Like her sister's my, but like we still, all of our family already knows. So it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to like bounce ideas off each other. Like, hey guys, how does this story sound? Like, or like I've done that too, where I'm like, oh my God, I really love that. How she worded that. Like, how can I incorporate that into my brand? You know what I mean? So feel free to kind of borrow. Alicia, yeah, this is all Sarah Dan. This is all Sarah. Oh yeah, Sarah Dan. This is her work from. Her name's Sarah Dan, and she has a Facebook group called Unstoppable Women Entrepreneurs. Highly recommend being a part of her Facebook group. She has tons of free training that is so good. It's so good. And she works specifically with Beachbody coaches. So she knows what she's talking about, which is really cool. So her name's Sarah Dan, SaraDann. And then it's called Unstoppable Women Entrepreneur Group. I think, Alicia, you're a part of it. Melissa, I think you might be maybe. It can be a little bit overwhelming, so I feel like if you're new, just kind of go slow. But she has great marketing tips in there. So, all right. Thanks, ladies. Feel free, like I said, to post to the page with more questions about this. If you're watching the recording, post your stuff too. Feel free to like kind of dig in on this. And have a great night.
Bye, guys.
bye.